Hi, I'm Ziad Ali for Object-Oriented Programming. In this tutorial, we'll introduce the most commonly used dialog boxes of the JOptionPane class in Java. A dialog box is a small graphical window that either displays a message to the user or requests an input. There are so many dialog boxes. Most of them are available in the JOptionPane class. The most commonly used dialog boxes are the message dialog and the input dialog. The JOptionPane class is not automatically available to your Java programs. It's in the Swing package, and the Swing package is in javax package. So, in order to use JOptionPane in your programs, you need to import javax.swing.JOptionPane. This way, you are telling the compiler where to find the JOptionPane class. So we'll see now how to use both message dialog and input dialog. Message dialog is straightforward. You just use the static method of the JOptionPane class and show the message JOptionPane ShowMessageDialog. We'll leave this null for now. Then your message. We can discuss this later when we study Swing. The second argument here, as you see, is the message. Let's see an example. So in order to use JOptionPane, you can directly type JOptionPane.showMessageDialog. Leave the first argument to null, and the second is going to be your message. Here's the message. Notice that Eclipse added JOptionPane automatically for you. Let me run this. Now I see this message dialog. It could be another string, message equals Java is fun, and you can use the message object here. Let me run this. Java is fun. It can also be an input from the user using scanner. The second type of dialogs is input dialogs. It's a very quick way and a very simple way to ask the user to enter data. You see one text field here, and you have two buttons. Either you click OK or cancel. If you click OK, the string you enter here will return to the user. Like in this example, whatever you type here will go and be stored here in the name. But if you click cancel, null will be returned. In this example, I'll do a simple input dialog. Let's make string choice. Choice is equal to JOptionPane.showInputDialog. And now you enter your message. What is your favorite programming language? That's it. If you click OK, whatever you enter in the text field will be stored in the choice. Let us output choice. Let me run this. What's your favorite programming language? I'll enter Java. Once you click OK, Java will be stored in the choice variable in line 7. You see here the output is Java. If you click cancel, see now I'm going to click cancel. The JOptionPane is going to return null. You see here the output is null. In your code, sometimes you need to check for the string returned from the JOptionPane JOptionPane.showInputDialog. Programs that use JOptionPane do not automatically stop executing at the end of the program. They generate a thread, which is a process when the JOptionPane is created. If you don't know threads now, never mind. You need to call a method from the system class to stop executing that thread. The method is exit. Usually this method is called with 0, as you see here. 0 tells the operating system that the program ended successfully. It means no problems were encountered. We are just stopping the program. So make sure whenever you use JOptionPane, you end your code with System.exit 0. Let me do this. Now I'm going to add the System.exit method to the end of the code. I run my code. I do my input. I click OK. After you finish everything, the System.exit will be called and the thread will be stopped. The JOptionPane showInputDialog always returns your input as a string, even if you enter digits. So if your input is not a string, like an integer or a floating point value, you need to convert it to the equivalent numeric type. In Java, there are wrapper classes that convert a string to a number. Those classes are available for almost every primitive data type. We have the integer class, double class. The integer class, you can convert a string to its integer value. And double does the same for a string to a double value. The process of converting a string to a numeric value is called parsing. And there are so many parse methods. As you see here, we have also a byte wrapper class, where you can parse any string to a byte value, integer, short, long, float, and double. So, if you are reading an integer from the showInputDialog, you will first be reading it as a string, then you need to convert the string to an integer. Here's an example. Integer, the number you are trying to get from the user, but you cannot get it directly, so you use a string. str is equal to showInputDialog. Once the user enters that digit or number, it will be stored in the string as a string object. So now we need to use the integer wrapper class to parse the string entered by the user to get the numeric value. The same thing you do for doubles. Here the same problem. We have double, we need to read from the user. We cannot do that directly. We get a string from the user, then we use the Double.parseDouble method, apply it on the string, and get the floating point value of price. Let's see an example. In this example, I'm trying to read an integer from the user, integer courses. However, I first need to read the input as a string. So I'll make a string here, input string. I'll call it. I can directly use it here, JOptionPane.showInputDialog. How many courses you are teaching? So the input will be entered by the user. It will return from the JOptionPane as a string, which is input string. Now I need to convert it to its numeric value. So I'll say here courses equals to integer dot parse integer from the input string. I can output the value. courses equal to plus courses. Let's run this. Now I'll enter 10. 10 will return from the JOptionPane as a string, stored in the input string in line 7. Then in line 8, the string will be parsed to its integer value using the integer wrapper class. Courses equal 10. Let me do this with a double. I'll do the same thing now. I'll call double GPA. I'll use the same string to read input from the user. I'll ask the student, what is your GPA? And then I'll say GPA is equal. Now I'll use the double wrapper class, parse double, the input string. Let me output the GPA. I'll use the printf to show you in both examples that what was read is a numeric value, not just an integer. Courses, %d, and %n to get a new line. Here I'll use GPA and %3f, %n to get a new line, and here I'll use comma. No need for the equal sign here, and no need for the equal sign here. Let me run this code. Hopefully it works. How many courses you are teaching? I'm at line 7. I'm teaching 5 courses. What is your GPA? Let me enter this value. I click OK. I get illegal argument exception because I am doing something wrong somewhere. Here, I'm not outputting the GPA value. I'm outputting an integer, so there is a mismatch between the type of courses, which is an integer, and the format specifier here, which is double. Let me run this again. 10 courses, GPA is 3 point whatever. I click OK. So I get the GPA output formatted to 3 decimals. Here is a complete example on Payroll calculator using Dialogs. We will first ask the user for his name. We'll use the JOptionPane.showInputDialog. No need to do any conversion since I'm reading the string. The next one I'll be asking about the number of hours worked, which is an integer. In this case, as you see here, we'll show the dialog, get the input, but later we will parse the input using the integer wrapper class. The next one is going to read a double value, which is hourly pay rate. It will return a string as usual. We'll use the double wrapper class to convert it to a double. Then I calculate the pay. I show the result using the showMessageDialog. In this tutorial, I try to introduce you to the 2 most commonly used dialog boxes of JOptionPane, the message dialog and the input dialog.